I was a chartered accountant before I completed 22 years of age. When you're not strong in something like technology, every step looks very difficult and becomes frustrating. We stay in India. Roti kapda makan was considered necessity. Makan is a house. See, Virat Kohli is at the top of his game. Still, he has a coach until they retire. But what we want to do, we want to take all decisions by ourselves. Even your insurance papers are pledgeable. Rather than keeping it in your cupboard or your locker, you keep it in bank's locker. They'll handle it, and when you're pledging it, they'll take more care of it than you would have done.
Yelrigu Namaskara. Welcome to Real Celebrity Podcast, powered by C. Krishna Chetty Group of Jewelers. These are stories of extraordinary women. And today, in this episode, we have a very well-established chartered accountant, CA Pratiksha, with us. And yes, she's not just a chartered accountant, she's also a very well-known finance influencer, Finfluencer. So let's begin the show and welcome to Real Celebrity Podcast. Hello, CA Pratiksha. How are you?
Hi, Spoorthi. I'm very good, and thank you for having me on this podcast.
Pleasure. A few days ago, I was just going through my Instagram and I happened to see your reel, and that caught my attention. I was like, okay, I have to bring Pratiksha on my show. So how are you doing otherwise?
I'm very good, and I'm really grateful to you that you liked my reel. It's big coming from another woman, and as women are always each other's biggest motivators.
Absolutely, very true. And we grow together. I mean, when we support each other, there's a possibility of growth, right?
Yes, true.
Well, Pratiksha ji, so tell me, what all do you do today apart from being a CA and a influencer?
These two things are two of my three most important categories where I step in. One is that I am a chartered accountant by profession, and I also provide finance content on various social media platforms like, say, YouTube, Instagram. We're there on X, which is Twitter, and we are also there on Stock Twits. We're there on LinkedIn, everywhere. And this takes up most of my day, other than being a full-time mom as well.
Okay.
Yes, and I'm a chartered accountant. And third thing is that I'm also a strategic advisor at the Atal Incubation Centre of Nitte. Nitte is near Karkala, it's in between Udupi and Bangalore. And I'm also a strategic advisor at that incubator. So these are my three most important professional tasks.
Okay. And personally, you're a mom, wife,
Yes.
and a daughter.
Daughter-in-law, yes. In my personal life, I am a mom to a very naughty 3-year-old daughter.
Okay.
And I don't know sometimes if I have to compliment or complain about her behavior because she's just a mini me.
Mini me. So there's no way that you can complain about
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Right.
So yes, I always compliment her naughtiness then.
Okay.
I'm a wife. My husband, he's also a chartered accountant, and we both practice together. We are a small team, and he is also an expert in funding matters, bank loans and all that for businesses.
Absolutely.
And he's also a US CPA.
Okay.
And my parents have been bankers in their careers. Of course, now my father is retired, and my mom has also voluntarily quit her job. And they are my biggest support system when it comes to taking care of my daughter. Okay, we realize the importance of many of the family members when they step up when we need them.
Right, very true.
Yes, and after my daughter is born, we stay with my parents because they also stay in Bangalore, and they're my biggest support system. And if I can do so many activities in my professional life, it is because somewhere in my mind I'm not very tensed that who is looking after my daughter,
Very
what is she
true.
doing and all that.
Very, very true.
I am also a daughter-in-law to my parents-in-law. My dad-in-law is a chartered accountant again.
The family is full of chartered accountants, okay?
He practices in Bangalore.
Okay.
And my mother-in-law has been a lecturer in her career. She's also quit now. I have a brother-in-law also who is a chartered accountant as well as LLB.
Okay, so there's a family full of chartered accountants, and as you all know, in this episode, we're going to talk a lot about money, personal finances, entrepreneurship and lot many more things. So stay tuned. So before I dive into the actual concept, just a little bit about you. Where were you born, your schooling and all of that?
Having been a kid to banker parents, one of the best things that's happened to me, Spoorthi, is that I've had the chance to live across India and be exposed to various cultures, which has broadened my horizon as well. Okay, I was born in Manipal, and till fourth I stayed in Manipal with my parents, and then my parents got transferred to Pune. And I went to Pune, and 5th to 10th I was in Pune, which again a beautiful culture of Maharashtra. And I've been there for 6 years, and then again for my PUC I came back. We as a family came back to Udupi, and I did my PUC and my chartered accountancy from Udupi. I did my articleship at Pai and Associates, and I'm very proud because whatever I am today, it is because of where I've done my articleship. So I will always be grateful to my two bosses in my articleship, CA Anand Narayan Pai and CA Venkatesh Naik sir, for making me who I am in my professional life today. And I will never shy away from talking about my articleship anywhere on any platform. Yes, and after my CA in 2013, at the age of 22, I came to Bangalore. My parents also took transfer to Bangalore. I was with Ernst Young for 2.5 years. And within then, an alliance came from my husband's side and from my side. And it was a perfect jigsaw puzzle fit, because he is also a chartered accountant, and somewhere in our student days also we knew each other. And I said, okay, also that a little bit of that entrepreneurial streak was there in me, wherein there was something that was holding me back in the employment stage. So I said, okay, let me go and let me join him and let me experience the practice stage. And when I came to the practice stage, again, that bug which wants you to push boundaries, that I think every woman has that, not just me or you or anyone. Every woman we see, she wants to push her boundaries. And from there, I wanted to see if I could do, because see, at employment, you are someone's employee. In my practice, I was, it started by my husband and all that, and I joined him. But what can I do by myself, right? So then there's this very nice backstory to my family as such. My father's family, my father, he is one of those very few families in India who are legacy share owners, which means when my grandfather, he passed away 2 years ago, my grandfather at the age of 90, and my father and my uncle inherited shares. Okay, and that's not some shares which my grandfather would have just purchased 5-10 years before he died. There were shares which my father and my uncle inherited, which are older than my father's age. Okay, so we have this in-house example of a long-term investor. My grandfather has purchased shares in 1962, as early as 1962. And today these companies are blue chip companies, huge companies. And he has held that shares till 2022, till he passed away. And those shares have been inherited by my father and my uncle. And when we have such a classic long-term investor in our own family, and I wanted to do something in that finance field, okay, because it's very rare you find legacy share owners,
right,
and that too of such old shares.
Correct.
Another 40 years and we'll be having century old shares with us. Okay?
Yeah, right.
So that is one part of my family, my father's side. And my mother's side of the family are, public speakers, debaters, narrators. They've been into this speaking talent. And one living example of it is my mother's mother, who is 89 years old, and she has her own YouTube channel.
Oh, wow.
Where she tells stories for kids.
Oh, interesting.
So I had this kind of speaking, and I've also been a debater and speaker in my college days and all, and my school days. So I had to put 2 and 2 together. And fortunately, I had the education to back it. I'm a chartered accountant. So I thought, okay, let me go ahead. And I have seen a lot of influencers out there who became my absolute role models. And anyone else in the influencer community, I look at them as role models and inspiration rather than any rival or something. So everyone, I took them as my role model, and I started this journey of and rather than influencing, I can say providing financial content
On
on
social
social media.
Okay, great. That's really nice. So, in this episode, we're going to talk a lot about it. But before we begin, uh, did you aspire to become a CA, or when did this thought of becoming a chartered accountant come into you, and how did that begin?
To tell you the truth, I till my 10th standard I did not even think what I want to do ahead. Okay, because many people they plan and all that, and at that point in time I did my 10th. When I was in 10th, it was like 2006 2007 academic year, and engineering was in a boom at that point of time. So the natural course for anyone was take science in PU and do engineering, but something very very moving happened with me on Republic Day, Jan 26th of 2007. I was just, because it's a school holiday, so for a change I was reading newspapers, okay, sitting at home, and there was this entire one-page article about chartered accountants, okay, what they do, and to tell you the truth, how much they earn. And so that caught my eye. And I started asking my father, my mother, what is all this about? What do you need to study to become a chartered accountant? Because other than science, no, we don't even know there is commerce and arts because of the boom that engineering was at that point of time. So then the first reaction by my father, of course, was it's a very difficult course. I said, it's okay, I'll study. And then he's like, are you sure? And then he said, okay, first finish your 10th exams and then we will, talk about it. So after March, when that exam gets over, I was bent on, this, I like this thing, what I've read. And by then I also, known a bit more information about this course. And then finally my parents also gave in and I took up commerce. And fortunately, hard work plus luck, I cleared all the CA exams in the first attempt.
Great.
And I was a chartered accountant before I completed 22 years of age.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, for all of those aspiring chartered accountants watching this video, what's your top 3 advice before actually deciding to become a chartered accountant?
Before deciding to become... Okay, see, first of all, I think you should know that chartered accountancy is not just about earning money. You have to be updated every single day. Okay, even in the entire career. It's not like you study, you pass your exams and you're done. So if you like reading, updating yourself, and you like a bit of that research,
is it more like medical also? Is it like the same thing that you keep updating yourself?
Updating in the sense the laws keep changing, so many notifications keep coming, and in a practical practice, clients will just call up and ask, so and so notification has come, what does it mean? You have to be, you can't say that, oh, I don't know, I'll just go through it. Right? So you have to keep be updated. It's not like the final exam is done and you'll enjoy. But I think now, today, that is the case in every field. You have to be updated. So yeah, that is one updation. Second is hard work, even in your course. Okay, many people, they may be really good at some sort of a hobby, and it might feel like a small pinch if they have to leave it. But some sort of sacrifice, of course, after you finish your CA, you can go back to all your hobbies. But it's a 4 years worth of kind of, I can say, meditation, because you have to put yourself into the course, right? And of course, I would say, an analytical mind. Analytical mind is a must, because it's not about creative and all that. My say is that if you have a good analytical mind, if you are good in your maths, statistics and all the numbers, and then of course this would be, because if you are not liking maths in school, you'll get frustrated with the course.
Correct.
So be ready to keep on updating throughout your life. Be ready to put in real hard work for 4 years, and see to it that you like an analytical way of life.
Right, makes sense. So now for all of those, I mean, I'm addressing those students just in their 10th or 12th. So for them, if you have to say, what is the course structure like? Like, for example, once they finish 10th, and then what should they take up, and then what happens to actually start their journey as a CA?
So once you complete your 12th, you write the foundation course, which is a basic knowledge course, and then after a year you attempt your inter. Okay, wherein so as
you have
to
to
tell
take
you
commerce in
commerce in PUC.
PUC, okay.
Right. Okay, and I would suggest that many people, they do one small mistake. They take a, I mean, I don't know how good it would be for the listeners, but try not to take, try to take maths, economic stats, because these things will be tested even in your foundation. I've seen students who've not taken maths in PU saying it's difficult, and then they have to learn that entire same maths for the foundation.
Right, okay.
So rather you can take 2 years to learn it in a very slow, nice manner at college. So please take maths. After your foundation, you have an inter, wherein your theoretical knowledge is tested more. Okay, because in inter you've just come out of your foundation in 1 year, and it's just more of an introduction, I can say, to the course. After you finish your inter, there are 2.5 years of articleship that you have to do. I think in the new system it's 2 years. So the system also keeps on changing, and 2 years you work with the CA, and finally your CA final exam will test you on practical knowledge. I would like to say, many students, they feel like, what is the importance of articleship, and they may try to go for a dummy articleship or something like that. You'll never pass your CA final. You need to do the practical work. You need to file a GST return. You need to file an income tax return. You need to fight a litigation. You need to prepare various papers for litigations, audits, everything. You need to conduct audits of clients. You need to know what you're doing, because with that practical knowledge, at least 20 to 30 marks in final are yours.
Right. Okay, so you started your career. How long has it been you've been practicing CA, and how many years experience do you have?
I started my career, if I have to really tell you, I or my husband, we've started our career since our articleship days.
Yes, that's true.
So that was in 2010. Then in 2013, I cleared my CA and I joined Ernst Young. And 2.5 years in Ernst Young, I was in international tax and transfer pricing. And then I chose to quit. And it was like, my husband was like, if you want, you carry on there, or whatever your choice. And I told, no, I'll quit. I want to be doing something of my own. And I came into practice 2013, mid 2013 to 2015 end. So 2015 December, 2016 Jan, I came into practice, and now I am in practice, and along with that I do all this financial content and all that.
So from being a CA to becoming a finance influencer, how was that switch? It's a very, when you look at a CA or when you talk to a CA, it's a very serious job. From there, becoming a face on a social media, and, becoming an influencer and a financial influencer. How was that switch, and how did it really happen?
I started in 2020, I started with doing class 12 accounts classes online. In the sense, not an online class. I started shooting videos. Okay. And for a person with a commerce background, technology is a huge handicap. Okay, and it was not easy at all. And I used to write the entire content on book, try putting it in PPT, try doing this, try doing that. And in that time of some 5 to 6 months, I ended up writing a book for class 12 accountancy. Okay, because when you're not strong in something like technology, every step looks very difficult and becomes frustrating. You want to do something else, and whatever content I had, I did a book of it also. And I started again doing these videos which I recorded and all that. And 2020, the COVID hit, and we were all in our homes, and I conceived at that point of time. So I took a break. I took a break for around 1.5 to 2 years. And in 2022, I thought, okay, high time. If I take more of a break, I'll be on break forever. So I need to have a comeback. And again, that thing was there in me, that I've left something in middle. Let me do something about it. And by August 2022, I thought, okay, I'll talk about finance. And because Ours is a CA family, so finance is the dinner table conversations, finance is every sort of conversation, and even my 3-year-old knows the full form of EBITDA. She doesn't know what is EBITDA, but she knows, she tells the full form, and because she hears us talking about that all the time. Okay, so I started on YouTube and Instagram. With the finance thing again, I didn't know what a mic stand is called, I didn't know tripod is called a tripod. I took courses on Udemy on how to shoot and all that, and we started off. But the what perception I as a chartered accountant had of a business, that is so different to what an entrepreneurship of a social media content creator is. I realized that only after I stepped in. I used to feel it's so much fun. They just come in front of the camera and they talk. But nobody knows the effort that goes behind it, because I think you, me, or anyone doesn't show that effort side, right? We all show the niceties. And of course, I started properly from September 2022, and you won't believe, till June 2023, 9 months, I was stuck on Instagram at 6,000 followers. I was doing everything.
For how long?
9 months. And imagine, because you saw my content, right? I research so much. I read so many articles. Then I write a script that suits 1 minute, and then I shoot it, edit it, and that point of time, I was the one-man show for my channel. And you do everything, and you feel that yes, this is going to go viral, and then 1,000 views and some 20 to 30 likes. Okay, and then in June, one video went viral. And from June to August, I saw a growth from 6,000 to 40,000. 40,300. August end, okay. Then came one of the worst times, which no influencer will like, which is from August to December end, my count started to decrease. And today I can tell that, okay, in 9 months, that plateau got broken. From 6,000, I went to 40,000. But at that point of time, I don't know when it will break. So it is me who has to keep my self-motivation high and keep putting a video every day. Keep researching every day. And again, after 40,000, it is very hurtful. When it comes from 40,300 to 40,200, you don't realize. When it comes from 40,200 to 40,100, you don't realize. When it comes from 40,100 to 40,000, you don't realize. When it goes from 40,000 to 39,900, that hits. Okay, what am I doing wrong? And September, October, November, December, 4 months, almost 100 videos, and the count is going down. And that was my test of entrepreneurship, is what I feel, because I had to keep my motivation high at that point in time. I don't know when this thing of decrease will stop. Right? And in January, first week and second week, 2 to 3 of our videos went highly viral, and we crossed 1 lakh. And then I realized, Spoorthi, that nowadays, even if it's a business, even if it's a social media content creating business, or any normal business, any kind of entrepreneurship, the kind of day and time we are right now, it is all just like a play of snake and ladders. Okay, you have to be updated, you have to be out there, you have to show the niceties, you have to go with the trend, and any moment it can be down, any moment it can be up. So that is why they say, there should be no sentiments in business, no business in sentiments.
Right.
I have experienced it firsthand.
Absolutely. So it's like you should not feel elated when you go up the ladder.
Absolutely.
Nor you feel, like, okay, something has gone wrong, and start getting frustrated and start giving up when you're down there.
Absolutely. And when my followers were decreasing, my biggest motivators, I would like to say, were the women in my apartment. Okay, any woman I used to even meet downstairs, she's like, oh, you're doing a great job with your YouTube videos. And some women were like, looking at your videos, we are now telling our husbands. And there was this very nice story. One woman, her husband is into share markets, and one day she suddenly went and she told him, oh, the railway stocks are increasing. And it's like, how do you know? And she's like, I watched these videos. So that kept up my motivation. And I would say my ladies were my biggest motivators.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So there was a transition, and you started it, and then you've seen those ups and lows and things like that. Well, coming back to the actual point of today's conversation, personal finance is something which is largely ignored even today. You know, yes, a lot of schools nowadays are taking that initiative to start
Yes.
personal finance as a subject, and start it from as small as preschools, begin that. But largely when we look at it, a lot many schools, majority of the schools even today don't have anything related to personal finance. Especially I didn't have it.
I didn't have it.
You didn't have it. So when we even when we crossed our post graduations, we had no idea what's personal finance is, what's saving, what's investment, what's stock market, what's mutual funds. Oh my god, I don't even know. So it was that state in majority, especially when we look at it as a 90s kids or anything like that, we have no idea about it. And largely we are the kids who have the suffering of this whole
Yes,
scenario.
yes.
When you look at it, 90s kids and this generation, their EMIs are way huge. Their salaries are equivalent to their expense, or even in fact their expenses
Because
are
of credit cards, yeah.
their salaries, and they have no idea how to break that chain of trap of EMIs. They keep increasing it, and their lifestyle is no way going less.
Yes.
Anyway we are increasing the way we live. But all of this, what is your suggestion for all of those people who are just starting out, finishing their studies and things like that? Where is that they can be conscious? And then I'm going to come to that 90s part.
Absolutely true. First of all, what you've told, we've been, it has been a lot of science-centric education, and nowadays even coding-centric. Okay, and finance is somewhere taking a backseat, whereas finance is the most basic requirement.
Absolutely.
Okay, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're whatever. Ultimately, why do you do any sort of work? For finance, and that could also be the reason why the finance niche is one of the most sought after even on social media, because people who are just coming out, just starting to earn, they don't know where to put their money. But on one hand, I feel one thing is positive is that nowadays the youngsters are more conscious. They know that they need to invest, and the number of demat accounts is also increasing and reaching high numbers,
All
and
thanks to majority of the finance influencers.
yes. And one more thing is, a majority of investment is going into mutual funds more than shares. So people know that, okay, mutual fund is a fund where someone is handling your money and putting it, investing in whatever best avenues possible. So yeah, that much of a basic knowledge most people are having thanks to the internet. Okay, and as far as the critical question of people spending as much as they are receiving their salaries, or sometimes the spending is going higher, that is a sign of being nearer to a developed economy, I guess, because people want luxuries in life. We are no more satisfied with the necessities, but to them I will just tell one simple mantra: consider one formula. It is not income minus expenditure is equal to savings. It should become income minus savings is equal to expenditure. In your income, you should first invest whatever less amount, but there should be some amount that you will invest or save or whatever. See, because I can sit here and tell that, okay, please put in shares, please put in mutual funds and all that, but someone might have an end goal of purchasing a house, someone might have an end goal of purchasing this beautiful jewelry, someone might have some other end goal. So someone may want to take tours, whatever makes them happy. So invest towards any end goal that you have. Maybe you want to have a higher education in future without disturbing your parents' funds, whatever that is. Invest with an end goal in mind. Invest in whatever makes you happy. That is the first thing, because many influencers on YouTube, they say that don't purchase a house, rent it. Okay, I say that as an influencer, as a person providing financial content, you should also provide content in such a manner that it suits the culture of your viewers. We stay in India. Roti kapda makan was considered necessity. Makan is a house. People need a house. People want a house. And no matter how much, the ultimate goal of life is not to make a big fat portfolio which you can show on Excel sheet to everyone. Right? I differ from some of those influencers. I say provide financial content as per the culture of your viewers. We as a culture, we love having an own house, at least one. I'm telling, you don't have to purchase too many residential properties, at least one. So have some of sort of that end goal, and on that basis, and don't follow the influence, including don't follow mindlessly. You all know your own requirements, your own end goals. Go as per that.
Consume content responsibly.
Absolutely.
And decide what best suits you.
Yes.
So for example, if a influencer is saying that, buying a house is not a great idea, and he gives substantial reasons for it, maybe you will have to go back and figure out how best that advice suits you.
Yes. Because see, sometimes okay, if your parents have a house, which is going to come to you, then maybe, owning a house is not one of the big issues for you right now. But, and sometimes some people ask me that, oh, you tell don't rent a house, purchase it. But if I'm in rent, I can move anywhere. If I have my own house, I'm stuck to a place. Who told you have to stay in your own house? You purchase a house even in your native, and then move on rent to whichever city you want to. But have a house in your portfolio. Have a real estate residential asset in your portfolio. And my content, Spoorthi, I don't do something just because something is in a trend and might get views. Of course, that is one part of it. But I also look at my viewers, what culture we are following, what is the, they say that, gold, invest in online gold. What will put gold certificates on our neck and go? They're always, and okay, SGBs, that is one of the big topics. I purchase SGBs, I'm not against it. But okay, SGBs mature after 8 years. What after that? Will you just take off that money and pay your credit card? No. If you have invested in gold, once it matures, purchase actual gold with it. Okay, so nobody tells what you have to do after your SGB matures. What after 8 years? After 8 years, that money comes into your account. Then how should you manage it?
A lot of them viewers don't even know that SGB means sovereign
gold bonds. Yes.
So if we will definitely talk about all of these saving assets and investments and things like that. But yeah, Pratiksha, to come back, for a normal layman person, somebody who's just probably passing out a degree and just getting a job and kind of taking their first salary, what are your personal finances tips to be sure that they don't go wrong after certain years?
Please open a PPF account. Okay. Please open an NPS account. PPF is Public Provident Fund and National Pension Scheme. These two are one of the must if you're just getting your first salary.
This is for everybody.
Everybody, I would tell. Business,
so
salary.
Usually PF is covered at the office. Still another PF.
Yes, PPF.
Okay.
That is EPF, this PPF.
Okay.
And also, if you have any additional money, distribute it among different asset classes. Invest in gold. Okay, I'm not telling that you have to at once invest 2-3 lakhs. Start with the SGBs, online gold also.
Okay, let's break it down like this. For example, a student passes out of graduation and gets a job, and his first salary, let's say it's about 25 to 30,000 rupees in a month.
Okay.
So how does he start with?
Okay, here let us assume that this person wants to buy a house. Okay, buy a house or buy an office space, whatever. Okay. If he wants to buy a real estate, okay, commercial or residential, whatever, he can start investing an amount in REITs. It's not compulsory he has to go for PPF and keep his money locked in for 15 years. Let him start with real estate investment trust, where you can invest as less as 1,000, or even you can put some 5,000 per month. Because while purchasing a real estate, if the amount is say 80 lakhs, he needs to have 20 lakhs. Every month let him increase, and when that comes to 20 lakhs, he needs a down payment of 20 lakhs for an 80 lakh property. 60 lakhs will be provided by bank. Where will he suddenly get 20 lakhs? So if you want real estate, start investing small amounts in online real estate. If he is going to get married, engaged, he has to purchase gold, start investing in online gold, small amounts. Once it comes to a huger amount, you can go to a shop like Krishna Chatti and purchase whatever you want. So that is where I'm saying it's the end goal. What is your end goal? Start investing in that.
Okay, somebody who doesn't have an end goal, I don't have a clarity what I want to do.
Yes, PPF and NPS to start accumulating your retirement corpus. The best day to start a retirement corpus is the day you start working. And in NPS, one thing I would like to say, it is, as per your age, they do an allocation unless you want to actually choose your allocations. If you just choose the automatic thing, as per your age, a larger number is put in equities. So automatically you're indirectly investing in equities as well. Other than that, if you want, because see, I don't like to give high risk, high return tips any point of time, but if you also want that, then of course there is mutual funds and equity shares,
right,
where you can invest nowadays, but it is highly volatile. You can't listen to any influencer, and especially I want to make this also clear. All these youngsters keep telling, suggest stocks, give recommendations. Please understand that only a SEBI registered investment advisor can only give you stock recommendations. Even if I'm a chartered accountant, if I'm not a SEBI RIA, I shouldn't be giving recommendations also, and you shouldn't be taking it from me as well. So, these SEBI registered investment advisors, so anyone comes on Instagram and tells, join my Telegram channel, I'll be giving recommendations over there, are frauds unless they show that they are SEBI RIAs. So youngsters are falling trapped in these frauds. So go with the lower risk, lower return. It's okay. Like PPF. Why I'm saying PPF? It's backed by government.
Correct.
NPS, it's government backed. You have more money, go for NSCs, go for ELSS, equity linked savings scheme, where you are investing in equities in an indirect way, and you're also getting tax benefits. So moreover, for every youngster who is earning money, the first thing they should do is hire, or at least have a consultation with a financial expert.
Yes.
See, Virat Kohli is at the top of his game. Still, he has a coach. Okay, Dhoni, he also used to have a coach till they retire. But what we want to do, we want to take all decisions by ourselves. One lawyer, one chartered accountant, a personal life coach, and a career coach. All these are important people. Have these people. Now you also mentor entrepreneurs, so they should be encouraged to take your services throughout entrepreneurship. It's not just one consultation and yes, we are done. No, they should have a sitting with you every month or every week or whatever that is, every quarter, and they should be sharing a progress with you. Because see, Spoorthi, I feel every one of us has the ability to reach the top. Correct. Whatever possible height. But it is the that boasting of I'm a one-man army kind of thing, which is holding us back.
True, I agree. So when we're speaking about national pension scheme, if I have to ask you, someone who has no idea about it and wants to start this, how is that a person can kickstart their national pension scheme investment?
So under national pension scheme, basically you are putting aside money into the scheme, wherein you are building a retirement corpus, to tell in very simple terms. And from whatever you invest, it is further invested from low risk like debt funds and small money market instruments to equities to even real estates. Okay, and this allotment is done, and once you attain the age of 60, then you get some portion of it as a lump sum and some portion of it as monthly whatever periodical pensions. Okay. So what is happening is indirectly you're building a retirement corpus without being too stressed about it. Of course, and this is also open to non-resident Indians. If someone is watching this, right, they can indirectly participate in Indian equity market through NPS.
Right, great. So what's a good amount to invest in NPS to begin with?
I would tell to begin with 50,000 per annum
Per
because
annum.
you get that deduction also in your taxes. So 50,000 per annum beyond PPF. I would always recommend PPF, Spoorthi, because it is compounding interest.
Correct.
And they say, no,
All this is available in your banks, like any banks that you are in.
yeah, post offices also you can go for PPF, and NPS is everything is online nowadays. So you don't even have to go anywhere. Even for the NRIs, when I'm saying NPS and all, everything is online.
Super, fantastic. So Pratiksha, if I have to ask you, as a CA, what would be your advice to parents who have still not disclosed their investments, portfolio and other things which they really own to their children? And this segment is large even today, and I've personally seen this as well.
So it is very, it's not at all rare. It's almost a very normal case for parents to not tell kids because they feel the kids will while away the money, they'll lose it and all that. But ultimately, you have to see what is the end goal. You want your kids to inherit it, they need to know about it, right? And if your end goal is to utilize all this money and live your life, travel in your old age with your spouse, of course, then there's no need. But one thing is, Spoorthi, there are so many things that come without an intimation, like a disease, an accident. Say if a parent goes into a coma and he has money in his account or investments which the kids don't know about, okay, which could be used in such cases. So I think the parents somewhere have to take this conscious decision, because the parents have to just rewind themselves 20, 25, 30 years back. Wouldn't they want their parents to be transparent with them?
Right.
Now they are at that stage and their kids are at that stage where they were 25 years before. So each parent has to analyze and see how, because see, inheritance by kids is one thing. What if you or your spouse are in a spot where you need the money but your kids don't know that you have the money?
Right.
You should think about that. When you're living, you might need a money and you'll be in a situation where you cannot tell your kids. So for each parent, they have to introspect. Okay, and they need to figure out, because as I told, one of the ways when you don't want your kids to know about it till you're alive, of course you can put it in a will.
Right, makes sense.
But if you want your kids to know when you're alive that there is money parked in so many investments, man, if something happens to me, please tap into those.
Right.
Then of course, in this continuation, I see that many of the investments, they don't put nomination.
Right.
Please put a nomination. A nominee does not inherit. A nominee just has an access to your investments in case of requirement.
Right.
It doesn't mean a nominee will get it. Of course, there will be a separate, the person who will inherit it will be as per the succession plan. But please put nominations to who can at least access your money if there is a requirement.
Right, great. Even today, there is a large number of people who have no idea how to make savings on their income tax filing and things like that. And there are certain ways that they can, do better savings and better planning towards their income tax filing. So what are your certain tips for them?
So I would like to say that I see some cases, Spoorthi, where people do their filings on their own, mess it up, and then come to us for repair work. I would like to say, please don't do that. Go to your chartered accountant or tax consultant or someone who has knowledge of taxes and get your taxes done through them, because they will tell you where exactly, as per your salary, as per your requirement, you can be investing. Because I'll tell PPF, someone will have some other sort of an investment to tell you, or maybe you have a housing loan, then you need not be putting in PPF to get that sort of a deduction, or you may be wanting a higher return than PPF. You can't stay invested for 15 years. Then someone will tell you a national savings certificate, NSC, of 5 years, or maybe a post office deposit, which again has compounding interest of 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, 1 year. And please go to a financial advisor. That is the best step you can take, because they'll be looking at all influencer videos, taking notes, and then nothing they'll do of those notes. Okay, because ultimately it's your money. It's a money. And for those who are into mutual funds or invest equity, this shares, I would like to tell that there's one concept called tax harvesting, wherein you sell and purchase just to adjust your purchase date. Say I have a share of ABC company, and which is say 1 lakh this year, when I purchase, and next year it becomes 2 lakhs the price. So 1 lakh is the profit, and up to 1 lakh I don't have to pay taxes. But next year it will become 3 lakhs. Then the total profit from 1 lakh to 3 lakh is 2 lakhs, on which I'll have to pay taxes. So what I'll do when it reaches 2 lakhs, I'll sell it for 2 lakhs, purchase it for 2 lakhs. So 1 lakh profit goes, is exempt, and my purchase price is not 1 lakh anymore, it's 2 lakh. So when I reach 3 lakh, my profit is again only just 1 lakh, because I've adjusted the purchase date. So there are these small nitty-gritties which a finance background person watching this video may understand. But what about a woman who is into a small business? She might be into, say, parlor business, baking cakes at home and selling, music classes at home, dance classes at home, yoga classes at home. We see a lot of this in our apartments right now.
True.
These are women doing profits. They have the money. And if I sit and tell NPS, PPF, NSC or tax harvesting, they might get frustrated. So I would say the easiest and the least cost method is to reach out to a financial advisor, because sometimes we've seen even in litigations, tax litigations, people tend to do their own submissions and end up messing it more than ever. So this, as we are becoming, as we are going in a very developmental mode, because the developmental, the percentage of development, the speed of development is like never before. So I think the mindset should also change.
True.
And people need to know that, let it be salary, startup, any other kind of entrepreneurship, side hustle, whatever, please have a lawyer and a chartered accountant to whom you can call any moment and take advice. They know your story, they know what you are doing, and rather than a generic, you get a customized advice. And that is something that the entire population should adopt. When we can't just we're talking about becoming a third largest economy, 5 trillion, 10 trillion, but if that financial kind of growth has to be there, there should be a proper advice at each step, at each level, at whatever level you are. Another one thing about investments, every influencer out there will tell you, invest in this share, this IPO, that mutual fund, this government scheme, that gold scheme, everything. But what to do after you have invested? That nobody talks about. Why do we invest? Because we say that, okay, after it reaches some 3 lakhs, we'll purchase a necklace. Okay, after it reaches so much, we'll purchase a house. And when there is a need for money, I see people selling off their investments, liquidating their investments. So I would like to also tell our viewers that please understand that most of your investments are pledgeable, which means you pledge it and take a loan against it. Okay, so let me take classic case of equity shares and mutual funds. Okay, equity shares. Say I have equity shares of 1 lakh rupees, and suddenly some issue rises and I don't really have money at that point of time. I'll sell these shares and fulfill my obligation. Rather, what I could have done is that I will go to a bank and I'll tell them that I want a loan against these securities. So what the bank will do, they'll pledge the shares and they'll give me a loan. So for say 1 lakh of shares, they may give me 90,000, using which I can fulfill my obligations. Now the shares are pledged with the bank. Adavidudu.
Got it.
If there is a rise in the price of shares, that capital appreciation belongs to me. If those companies declare dividends, the money belongs to me. Okay, if there is a split share, bonus share, whatever, I get it. Okay, but the loan remains the same.
Correct.
And when there is a loan, you always have it in your head, oh, I have to pay that interest every month, I have to fill up that loan, I have to repay that loan. Okay, and it is much easier to repay a loan than rebuild a portfolio.
Absolutely. Very true. Very true. That's a very great point. I mean, in fact, I personally didn't know about it.
Yes.
Though, I recently removed one of my investments just like this. And I think this would be a great point.
And do you know one more thing? Even your insurance papers are pledgeable. Rather than keeping it in your cupboard or your locker, you keep it in bank's locker. Give it to the bank. They'll handle it. And when you're pledging it, they'll take more care of it than you would have done.
Nice.
Okay. So once you have an insurance, once it starts giving
What insurance are you talking about?
health insurance, life insurance, basically, it starts giving a surrender value. Okay, and on that surrender value, they start giving you a loan. So this year there is some amount of surrender value. Next year that amount increases. You again go back to the bank and say that my surrender value has increased, so you give me a higher OD. Okay, so many of us don't know this. We say that insurance is waste. You can pledge that as well. Your life is also secured in case of any requirement, and you are also able to pledge it and get money.
Okay. A lot of us are aware about health insurance, life insurance, vehicle insurance, and all of that. What are the must-have insurances for all of us?
So I would like to talk about two insurances types. Okay, of course, life, health, and all is very necessary. But let me say three. Okay, first is term insurance. Okay, term insurance is where you pay a very small premium for a very large sum assured, but there's no maturity sort of. Only if something happens to a person, like if the person passes away, his or her family will get a very huge amount compared to whatever the premium has been paid. I'm talking about this insurance, term insurance, because people don't realize the value of a term insurance. Okay, they will feel like, oh, so the insurance agent wants us to die. Okay, no, nobody wants you to die, but just look at a scenario where something, because we don't know our death date, we only know our birth date, no? We celebrate only birthdays, we don't know our death date. So something happens, what about your family? Right? And even, okay, I wish everyone has a very long life. And what is the worst that will happen? Even if, not the worst, but even if you live, only a very small percentage or amount of premium that you have paid is forgone. But is for an insured sum of say 1 crore, if you're paying a 6,000 premium, is that too much to pay for your life or for your family?
Right.
Think of it in that manner. So term insurance. Second, I would like to say, take mediclaim for your parents. Sometimes the companies, they tell their employees that in our policy even your parents are covered, but it will be for a very small amount. And they say that most of the middle class Indian families are one hospitalization away from poverty. One hospitalization and you'll be ripped apart of all the investments that you've done. All the videos of influencers that you've seen will go waste. So have appropriate separate mediclaim insurance for your parents.
True.
Third, I would like to say is maternity insurance for your wife, or if a woman is doing for herself. See, when my daughter was born, Spoorthi, the bill for 4 days was 2 lakh plus, which is normal nowadays. I paid only 2,000. Okay, so that is the importance of a maternity insurance.
So when do you start paying this?
The various insurance policy, they have their own timelines. Of course, it should be, I think, before you are conceiving. Okay, so initially only you have to start it off, and once you conceive also you intimate to them, and as the delivery date nears also you have to intimate to them, and once the kid is delivered you again intimate them, and then they take care of everything.
And is there any particular number of years that you have to pay or something like that?
No, nothing like that. We took it around 4 years before I conceived. So those were those 4 years. And then after I had my first kid also, we have
kind of... So women can buy this even before getting married?
After getting married. Because again, I don't think they can get it before getting married, because I got it after I had to get it after I got married. But again, different companies have their own rules and regulations, and insurance agent can be able to be in a better spot to tell about that. But yeah, these are the three insurances which people need to know about. And I'm trying to put it in forth in very simple terms without too much details, but please have a maternity insurance, so that a lot of your initial hospital bills and all that is covered. And when a mother delivers, the rest of the tension is on the father. So the father can also be happy at that point in time.
Very true, very true. Agree. Okay, so now that we spoke quite a lot about personal finance, is there anything that you want to tell our audience regarding personal finances? Okay, one question before I move forward. A lot of youngsters are getting into a trap of EMIs today. And it's a very big pain point for a lot of them. They don't realize until they actually get into that trap, but once they are into it, they struggle to come out of it. So what's your advice to youngsters to avoid this trap? And once they are there, what's your advice to come out of it?
So see, there are EMIs of two types. One is a good EMI, one is a not so good EMI. So good EMI is, if you are purchasing appreciable assets or long-term assets like a house, paying an EMI for a house is a good thing. Okay, or if you are paying EMI for some gold or jewelry, these are things your kids will also inherit. But if you're paying EMI for a wasteful expense, like, see, you don't have the ability or an affordability to buy a depreciable asset, but you're buying it just because your friend is buying it.
For example, an iPhone. Okay.
Yes, iPhone. After 1 year, nobody will look at your iPhone. You yourself might start hating it because some second or third version would have already been out. So first thing, look at affordability. But if you are unable to afford it in one go and you're going for an EMI, then have a proper plan for it. Like, for example, let me tell you this way. People say, classic example, we buy a camera worth 75,000, 1 lakh, and we just went for 2 tours. Okay, then switch on your entrepreneurship mode, talk to your neighbors and tell that I'm willing to at least rent it out to you. Okay, do something about it. You're going on tour, please take my camera. Don't invest, you pay me the rent. Okay, so in a lot of cases, people do wasteful expenditures and then it just remains on one side. At least try to think how you can gain out of it. Okay, or if there is some influencer or content creator in your building, tell them you use my camera and pay me the rent till you monetize and start and can get your own camera. So that is one thing. Other than that, EMIs, back to EMIs, have a financial goal of starting to repay your wasteful, not so good EMIs quickly.
As soon as possible.
As soon as possible. There are 2 ways in which you can repay your EMIs. First thing is, whichever is the smallest amount outstanding, you can pay off those loans first and you can reduce the number of loans. Okay, psychologically it's very good. Because you feel that, oh, that loan is closed, oh, this loan is closed, this EMI is closed, car maybe, or bike, or your iPhone, or credit card loans, outstanding credit card dues. Okay, you'll just pay the minimum due and finish it off. So the one is that where you pay off like that, one loan at a time, one small outstanding amount at a time, start closing down, and finally you have only certain big long term good EMIs. That's okay. Second thing is, you can make a note of whichever is the highest interest and start paying your excess whatever savings into those higher interest loans and getting those amounts down, so that the interest you're paying goes down. That could be a very big loan also, and the small loans will still be there outstanding, let it be. Higher interest loans, whatever you're, after paying all the EMIs first, whatever you have to pay every month, pay everything. Additionally, what you have, start paying your higher interest loans first. So these are 2 methods, whatever suits anyone, they can do it. Now coming to the good EMIs. Okay, there is something like housing loan. People have this very bad habit, they will start to prepay the housing loan. Adon loan mugitandre tension hoitu. Why? I'm asking why. Because see, if your income is say 5 lakhs and you're paying 2 lakhs towards your housing loan, 3 lakhs you utilize for your investments. Okay, invest in your mutual funds or equities or whatever that is. Go for a trip with your wife, get jewelry for her. Why do you want to prepay your housing loan? See, when you're 30 also, your EMI will be 2 lakhs only. When you're 50 also, your EMI will be 2 lakhs. It's not like rent, it won't go increasing. Honor your EMIs, but if it is a good category EMI, like some appreciable asset and stuff like that, don't go on prepaying or pre-closing the loan. It'll be that, see, today you're earning 5 lakh, your EMI is 2 lakh. At the age of 50, you might be earning 50 lakhs, your EMI will still be 2 lakhs. So for good EMIs, let it remain. For the bad EMIs, either pay off the smaller outstandings and start closing your loans, or pay off the higher interests and closing your loans. And again, the formula that I said, it should always be income minus savings is equal to expenditure. There are people with 20, 30,000 salaries, maybe investing in an iPhone. Not bad. Everyone deserves their share of jolly days. But what I will tell is, be mindful.
Be mindful.
Okay.
Right.
You can afford to have one iPhone with an EMI. Okay, give yourself that leeway, because see, our ultimate goal is not to do a big fat portfolio and be frustrated in life. Be happy in life. Do what you want. Know the limit.
Know the limit.
Yes.
Just don't make your EMIs is equal to your earnings.
Absolutely, because see, it's when an engineering pass out, if I can take an example of an engineering graduate, the first 2 years there's no responsibility. It's just like pocket money kinta jasti salary barta ide. So let's enjoy. Before you know, there will be a lot of responsibilities.
Exactly.
And then it becomes difficult for a rebound.
True.
And maybe you'll have to go and ask your parents, which is a bit pinching.
True.
So know the limit. And I think, nowadays the youth is more aware, thanks to YouTube, thanks to influencers, they are more aware. But know the limit. That's it. And when you have one unaffordable, not so good EMI, don't take a second something of the similar sort.
How do you consider saving and investment? How do you bifurcate it? And when you are beginning your career, how much to save, how much to invest, and how much to spend?
See, there is one very classic rule saying 50-30-20 rule. Okay. So in this rule, they say that whatever your income, net income after whatever your EMIs, 50% goes towards your needs. Needs is something that is basic. You need toothpaste, soap, groceries. You can't do without it. All your grooming items and all. You can't go to office in one casuals or in pyjamas. So those are your needs. Next, 30% are your wants. Something beyond needs, you can do without it, like your iPhone. If your iPhone is going beyond your 100% of your income, then that's something to be worried about. But in that 30% of wants, whatever small indulgences you like. Okay. So see, I might be liking some sort of a dessert in some very upscale restaurant. Doesn't mean I go every day. That comes in wants. But yeah, my cook I have to maintain at home. Her salary comes in the needs.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Then 20% are your savings and investments. Okay. Why now you might think that why not 50% investments when we are always telling invest. Because there is some life also to be lived. It's not only investments. Don't purchase house, don't purchase vehicle, don't purchase phone, don't purchase anything. Just have shares and sit on the road. That's not how it is to be, right?
Right.
So culturally, we also see there is a peer group. Every human being has a need to get involved in peer group. So live your life and at least 20% you invest. While investing at a younger age, take more risks. Invest in equities, shares, mutual funds. At the same time, also invest in your NPS and PPF. That are two basic, I will always tell. Right from that time, I've been telling that only. Because one is a long term and one is a retirement corpus. So never ignore your NPS. PPF again depends on you. Okay, if you want, invest in equities, mutual funds, REITs, InvITs. Okay, but before investing, if I'm telling take high risk, don't just close your eyes and put your money. Look at how it has performed. That even
There are so many websites also where you can check all of this.
Absolutely. So many websites, so much material is there. Just minimum while purchasing a share, minimum you can see if their sales are increasing every year, if their profits are increasing every year, are they coming out with new products, something small here and there, and how the share has performed. Do small researches. Even if you are a plain Jane 12th pass also, you will know how to read English.
True.
You will know if a number is going up or down.
Correct.
Do that and do your homework and then invest.
Absolutely. Brilliant. That was a great conversation with you. Finally, what's your message to all of those people watching this video, especially women?
When it comes to women, Spoorthi, just few days back I was seeing Mrs. Neeta Ambani's that reel, okay, when she won that humanitarian award, and what she said was so beautiful. I absolutely loved it, which is, if a woman cannot do something, it cannot be done. Okay, so there is nothing that a woman cannot do. Okay, let us push our boundaries. Let us get rid of perfectionism. Let us learn to delegate, live our life, invest in what makes you happy at the end of the day, especially women. We all want to invest in jewelry, but we save for our kids' education, we save for our kids' marriage, we save for our husband's business. Okay, always women have this habit of sacrificing everything and then saying, I'm very happy. No, indulge a bit, build your own side hustles, be financially literate, be financially independent.
Fantastic. That was a great conversation with you, CA Pratiksha, and it was great having you in our show. And I hope, I believe, and I trust that this episode has been really, really helpful for everyone who has watched it. And you will make wise financial decisions after this. And anything that you want to take it up in life, like, please seek for professional advice. Whether it's business, go for a professional advice from a business mentor. If you want guidance on your career, seek for a professional career mentor. And if you want a financial advice, please go for a financial advisor, legal advisor. And also for your personal life, if you're facing any difficulties and want to come out of it, seek for professional help. Don't just ask your sister, friend, or a neighbor who doesn't have an idea how to professionally help you. With that, I would like to thank CA Pratiksha for joining us. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Spoorthi. And these kind of shows really give women a dopamine hit. We sometimes don't know if we are doing good or not. And when you call us a woman celebrity, a woman achiever, it is a huge dopamine hit. So keep up the good work.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, that's Real Celebrity Podcast, and I'm going to see you very soon with a brand new episode. Seeing you again very soon. Innonsati Marna. Well, that's Real Celebrity Podcast, powered by C. Krishna Chetty. Okay, 1 second. Well, that's another interesting episode of Real Celebrity Podcast, powered by C. Krishna Chetty Group of Jewelers. And I'm going to see you very soon with another exciting episode. Until then, stay tuned.